we perform better when we have positive connections with other people. And I think that having those interactions really helps just to kind of keep you engaged, and know that if anything ever came up, there was someone there to help. Hi, my name is Boris, and I come from a background in the restaurant industry. So very non-traditional for people thinking about business school or GMAT prep more specifically. But after COVID happened, as many people know, the restaurant industry was hit pretty hard, and I wasn't spared. So I realized that I kind of needed to broaden my skill set a bit, and kind of became interested in an MBA after that, just so I can have more opportunities. And so shortly after COVID happened, and I kind of came to this decision, I started studying for the GMAT. This was about June 2020. And so I began with some of those chunky GMAT textbooks. And it wasn't long after starting to use them that I realized that I would need a better resource. The need became very apparent that wasn't a good method for me, a good way to learn the material for the GMAT. I just found it very frustrating to have to solve a question set and then flip to the back for the answers. And by the time you start reading the answer, you kind of forget what the question was, so you have to flip back. So it was a pretty painful way to go about it, in my opinion. So I started asking around for other options, and a friend recommended Target Test Prep. I did the week-long trial, and I was hooked. I felt that immediately it was going to be the solution for me, what would help me achieve my GMAT goals. And so I started studying, and again, from the get-go, I could feel how useful of a program it was. At that point, it was a while before I had thought about the type of math and the type of English that's covered on the GMAT. And it was really nice with Target Test Prep because they start you off with the basics, and they don't kind of avoid anything. They'll take you to square one and walk you through everything, and that was great. I needed that. I needed to build that foundation again. So that was really nice. First and foremost for Quant, that's Target Test Prep's focus, and that's what I was the most rusty at. But with English as well, I kind of came into the process thinking, oh, well, I'm a native speaker. I can, get by with the verbal section. But Target Test Prep really showed me that, there's a lot I wasn't thinking about, and they then taught me what I needed to be thinking about in a very clear and effective manner. So that was very helpful. But beyond that, I thought that the program was just really helpful because of the repetition that it offers you. I think that's one of the most important things to learning this material is just hammering in that information into your mind, into your head, so that when it comes time to test A, you're prepared. You have that muscle memory. And that's super important because when test A happens, nerves take over, and it's easy to get distracted by so many other things that you need to just ensure that once you see a certain type of problem, you know how to go about it. And I think that Target Test Prep is really good at accomplishing that, just by how many problems they have for you, between the example problems in the lesson plans themselves and the numerous tests they have on just one particular subject. I think that, if you follow the program, the software, the lesson plan as you are supposed to, as you are directed to, then you should have no problem getting a high score on the test. It is, built in a very methodical and effective way, and I think it kind of all but guarantees good results. The other thing that was really nice about the program working with Target Test Prep was just the kind of human interactions that are possible, that are available with the program. When you kind of think about an online educational platform, you don't really expect to communicate with a live person. And so it was nice when I would actually interact with Scott and Jeff and a couple other people here and there whenever something came up. It just, again, makes it feel more personal. You actually feel more of a connection to the program. And it's nice because, when you're doing something like the GMAT, studying for the GMAT, it could feel like a long and lonely road. And there are so many forces out there that will really kind of throw you off course and make you lose interest or frustrate you along the way. And so you kind of need that human interaction to just keep you connected, keep you engaged, and remind you what you're working towards. And I know that's kind of, I don't know, when you think about GMAT prep, you want just a platform that teaches the material well, but I think it's little things like that that are super important, because we perform better when we have positive connections with other people, and I think that having those interactions really helps just to kind of keep you engaged, and know that if anything ever came up, there was someone there to help, which is not something you expect, or at least I didn't. So that was a nice touch. And the other thing too, again, this is minor, kind of cheesy, but I liked it. There's a lot of little quotes throughout the program. You'll find quotes after you complete a chapter, just words of encouragement. Again, not the kind of primary thing you think about when thinking about GMAT prep, but it's a nice touch. I like it because I like quotes, but also because you kind of need those little motivators here and there, especially when taking on something like the GMAT, which is, a very tough thing. And it's a very arduous process. And so it's nice to, be able to kind of celebrate when you finish a chapter. That's the kind of thing that really keeps you motivated. It encourages you to keep going, to keep pushing. And so again, it's a minor thing, but I think it's, something that very subtly, but very effectively influences your experience studying for the GMAT, and it, helps create a very positive perception of the program. So that was good. And to be clear, I did compare Target Test Prep with other programs as well before ultimately subscribing. And I found that hands down, Target Test Prep was kind of the best out there, for both quant and verbal. I think that, just the one-stop shop that you need. So many other platforms there, they specialize in just verbal or just quant. And you don't really want to waste time bouncing around to different programs. You don't want to waste more money. So it's great to just have this one central resource for all your GMAT needs. It literally helped me with everything except for integrated reasoning, but that's doesn't necessarily matter as much, at least in the scheme of things. So I wouldn't get too hung up on that. But I had a really positive experience with Target Test Prep. I ended up with a 730 GMAT, which, kind of frustrating for me because I know I could have done better. I got a 48 quant and 42 verbal on practice tests. I was getting 49s and 50s on quant. But, you kind of reach a certain point where you get a, pretty good score, and it's not worth the extra time and energy to keep retaking it. So I'm content with a 730. And that was, a pretty big deal for me because on my first mock test, before I started studying, I had a 530, which wasn't great. So to jump 200 points like that, I think, that'll help me a lot once I actually send out applications. So, I think it's a great program. I think you should do yourself a favor and just sign up for Target Test Prep because you want to get going on GMAT prep ASAP. So don't waste more time than you need to researching the programs. Get started and you'll see the results very, very quickly. So best of luck to you. Thanks for listening. Bye.